So when you get pushback as you head into Chicago from people like Mayor Johnson, what's your message to the mayor?
Get out of the way, because we're going to do it. Look, right after the election, when President Trump took the White House, the first operation that I was involved with was Chicago. Brandon Johnson says I wasn't welcome in Chicago. Well, the very next day I was in Chicago along with the task force. And just the day one, Griff, the first day in Chicago, we took 9 child predators off the street. Child sex predators off the street. We arrested numerous members of Tren de Agua and MS-13. We arrested 2 illegal aliens that were convicted of murder. And we took numerous guns off the street, pistols that had the switch. That made those pistols fully automatic. That is day one in Chicago. And that's just a chip off the iceberg. So there's a lot more to do. President Trump's committed to making Chicago great again, making it safe again, since they failed to do so.
Hey, good morning, guys. Now, these are just preliminary numbers that we have tallied up so far, but we're on track to actually have more gun violence that happened this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, than last year's Memorial Day weekend. I want to take you guys to one of the scenes that we're talking about. This is the latest one that happened last night along the lakefront. Chicago Fire telling us they transported a 19-year-old woman from the DuSable Harbor just before 10 o'clock last night. Police are saying she was riding her bicycle when an unknown male started shouting at her before firing off rounds. After receiving a gunshot wound to the thigh, she was taken to Northwestern Hospital in fair condition. The shooter still on the loose. Then we go to Sunday night, where more bloodshed happened after a woman was shot while sitting in a parked car with a man in the River North neighborhood. Police say it happened on the 500 block of West Erie. 4 guys approached the vehicle, one of them reaching inside and punching the man in the face, while another shot the woman in the back. She's also listed in fair condition. Now, these numbers show 54 people were shot this Memorial Day weekend, with 9 killed. And these numbers came in while Chicago police had every full-duty sworn-in officer working without any days off during the holiday weekend. But this time last year, only 3 were killed, while 37 were shot during the Memorial Day holiday. While police are working around the clock, people who live in the Chicago say something has to change.
Of course, now you have Chicago politicians bragging, talking about, no, the crime is down, the crime is down. Maybe by fucking Whole Foods where you shop, but not in the south side of Chicago, where people are still ducking and dodging bullets and can't even check their goddamn mail. This is what I was saying 2 weeks ago when I said these democratic cities invest in crime. And every liberal in my comment section was like, you said the wrong word, you said the method, you said the method, you said the method, you said the method. They're investing in crime. There's no progress. They want the crime to fucking continue. That's obvious. Talking about you're investing positively in the communities. You're investing in fucking excuses. You have communities like Westside where there's people who are purposely going out asking for help. Asking for help. Trump said the other day, there's a beautiful African-American woman coming to me, asking me like, hey, can you please come help us in Chicago? We need help. Crime is at an all-time high. Please help us. Governor's like, oh, no, we're okay. The mayor's like, don't send help. How dare you? We don't need no help. Let the crime continue. Let the crime continue. The gaslighting is at an all-time high.
Yeah, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one on the James Williams, Star Waters, and I'm back. And you know, as we go into this weekend, this holiday weekend, we go in with Tom Homan, Donald Trump, and everybody calling to go into Chicago to stop the violence. And the stubborn Illinois governor and the mayor of Chicago resisting help to stop murder. And I've already said that I predict there's going to be a ridiculous amount of people get shot this weekend. But I just want to cover some of the things that are already going on in the news real quick so you can see them. While they're actively resisting the National Guard coming in to save lives, these are the same lying SOBs that march and say Black Lives Matter. But a Black life only matters as long as they can benefit from it. And so I anticipate there being some mighty exposure happening. Damn, look at this. On the interstate, people getting shot. Wow. Hold on, man. This is crazy. The news that they're covering the Annunciation shooting. Give me a second. Because of course they're going to show the shooting of the kids. Watch this. One shot in Broadville, Illinois State Police. One person was shot Thursday night in the west suburbs of Illinois, State Police said. The police initially said the person was shot on eastbound Interstate 290 at the 25th Avenue in Broadway just after 7 p.m. So somebody got shot on the interstate. Some seriously psychotic stuff. Watch. Let's go back to the next piece of news. Chicago man killed, 19-year-old in broad daylight shooting. Where's your news clip on this?
In this case, based on what you know right now.
And the question is whether or not warning signs have been missed regarding the person who committed these very heinous acts.
Of course, they're going back to the Minneapolis, Minnesota shooting, but watch this. The brief. A 19-year-old man was shot and killed late Wednesday morning on the west side. Police said 2 gunmen opened fire, hitting him in the head and the body. No arrests have been made. Chicago 19-year-old man was killed in a shooting Wednesday morning. What we know, the police said that the shooting happened around 11:54 a.m., which, bro, ain't nothing going on good outside at that time of night, in the 5200 block of West Glades Avenue in the Austin neighborhood. The victim was standing near a sidewalk when 2 men approached, pulled out guns, and opened fire. This is what's going on in Chicago right now as we go into the weekend, the holiday weekend, and the news is going to continue to cover the Minneapolis shooting, which I'm not saying it shouldn't be covered, but by the time this moves out of the news, you're going to see probably 50 people shot and murdered in Chicago. Let's go back again. Chicago. A 15-year-old boy killed. This is Friday, August 29th.
Shooting on the south side, the teen, along with a 12-year-old boy, was shot yesterday near 47th and Union. Police say the victims were in some kind of fight with other people right before those shots rang out. At last check, the 12-year-old boy is in critical condition. Labor Day weekend is full of fun, including bike.
I'm glad they said that it's Labor Day weekend. Now let's just do a quick check and see how many people were shot in Chicago last Labor Day weekend. Anybody want to take a guess? And then we're going to swing to the things that are being said by the people in government in Chicago. And I want you to come to the realization. I want you to understand. I want you to recognize. I want you to listen. I'm using all the NLP language patterns. It's not about X, it's about Y. It's not about Brandon Johnson. It's not about Pritzker. It's about murder. Murder. Smurder. It's not even Sweevil. They're not even sweet evil. These SOBs are just evil. But watch this. Hold on. Let's see how many people were murdered and shot last Labor Day weekend in Chicago. I'm back, and it's not hard to find statistics. And here we go. The craziest thing is going into this Labor Day weekend, for them to be taking this position, God is going to judge them for this. And this is a part of the judgment. It's the perfect setup. Here it is.
People were shot in Chicago. At least 31 people were shot in Chicago over the Labor Day holiday weekend, and 5 of them died. That number is down, though, compared to Labor Day weekend last year. Among those killed was Katrina Brown. She was shot Friday night while sitting on the porch of her home in the West Pullman neighborhood.
Labor Day weekend is full of fun, including Bike the Drive.
Now, this trick said the numbers were down. So let's go to 2023 and let's see if the numbers were actually down. And it's laughable. Chicago weekend shooting, this is 2023, 8 killed and 41 hurt during Labor Day weekend. Here it is. At least 8 people were killed and 41 others were hurt in shootings across Chicago during Labor Day weekend. The ages of the victims range from 16 to 53. Zooming in on the map, people were shot all over Chicago. But let's keep on going. In the weekend's first shooting, a 34-year-old man was shot and killed in a 2700 block of West 38th Street in Brighton Park Friday evening. Then, look, a 13-year-old boy was shot. A 60-year-old boy was shot. Look, a 42-year-old man was shot. 27-year-old man shot in the leg. A woman 32 and a man 40 were outside above location and got shot. A 20-year-old man was outside in a white color sedan, shot. A 53-year-old woman shot. A 50-year-old man shot. 20-year-old man shot. A 17-year-old shot. 26-year-old, 25-year-old, 47-year-old, 32-year-old, 21-year-old, 20 and 21-year-old, another 20-year-old, 24-year-old, 29-year-old, 28-year-old, 32-year-old. This victim was unknown age, 33-year-old, 27-year-old, 34-year-old. Look at it, it just keeps going. Look at this shit. And Brandon Johnson and the Democrat leadership in Illinois thinks that they don't need help, and never mind the fact that they defunded the police. See, the logical thing would be, hey, we know that we're going to look bad this weekend if we have a whole bunch of murders. Let's ramp up our police force. Let's bring out our own National Guard ourselves and send them into the streets and stop the violence. No. They're evil. They're not finna do that. These children, and this is the crazy thing, it's not even just kids. 53-year-old women, 40-year-old men, 28-year-old, 32-year-old. Death and destruction is about to be unleashed into the city of Chicago. All while their leadership is saying crap like this. Let's start with this retarded logic of this pencil neck retard. And I'm gonna be clear with you. If you black and you watch me and you don't see that this Negro right here, this needlehead Negro is a problem, bro, you deserve everything that you get. You deserve it. You deserve it. You got a president that's saying, hey, I want to stop the crime in your community. And this needlehead Negro is talking about descendants of slaves. That needlehead ain't no descendant of no damn slave. Matter of fact, I want to see how many of these leaders is descended from slaves. You need to show me your 23andMe, Negro. Yeah. You need to show me your 23andMe. Because this needlehead Negro right here is a problem. And you about to see, as all hell breaks loose, you about to see how much of a problem this needlehead Negro is. Meanwhile, the people in Chicago are saying, no, send in the National Guard. We tired of this. But he stands there in defiance, like he's Pharaoh. I'm going to warn you, Brandon Johnson, you won't be Pharaoh, and you king, and everybody's supposed to be afraid of you, and things going to go, boy, what's coming for you? Boy, what's coming for you is about to be. Boy, what's coming for you?
All of this pushback against Trump, knowing how he responds to that, could actually provoke him to follow through with this talk about sending in the National Guard when yesterday he seemed to waffle. Could this make things worse, all this pushback?
Could you imagine if, as a descendant of slaves, if my ancestors would have had that same rationale? Let's not fight against the Confederacy. Let's just try to get along, and then maybe one day they'll give us our freedom. Nowhere in the history of America or the world where marginalized people have sat silent and idle, and they've been able to actually achieve justice and liberation. The fact that you have a unified front in Chicago where we are rejecting the occupation by the military of our cities, that's actually fighting for our democracy. That's what's required in this moment. Leading in this moment takes a great deal of courage, but we stand on the shoulders of so many people that have come before us. We have seen these type of tyrannical acts before. One thing that we know for sure, when we fight back against tyranny, the people united always prevail.
Did you hear that load of bullshit? Pardon my language. Y'all got to forgive me. I love Jesus. I ain't Jesus. And I'm going to have a conversation with the Lord because he's going to get on me about the language I'm using. I'm going to repent. But let me tell you something. When you grow up in a city where when you become 18, 19, you're surprised that you make it to 20, then you have a special disdain for Negroes like this. Yeah. When people that you know when you was in the 9th grade, getting murdered in the 10th grade, then other people getting murdered in the 11th grade, and you going to funerals when people is young, as we say, young, and then when you're in your 40s and your 50s and people still getting murdered because of crime and violence and carjackings? No. See, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. And see, here's what's about to happen in Chicago. They're about to get a wake-up call. While he's sitting up here parading, talking about injustices and all the rest of this foolishness, while children being murdered in the streets because of crime and violence, while elderly people being murdered in the streets because of crime and violence, all that blood gonna land on his head. That boy about to get judged. And if you don't see the divine setup in it, that the conversation starts about going into Chicago up to Labor Day weekend. If I'm Donald Trump, I'm not sending nobody in there. Guess what? I'm going to let y'all go through Labor Day weekend. And if you can put enough police on the streets to stop 40, 50-something people from being murdered. Now, we just saw that they said crime was down because, if I'm not mistaken, it was 43 people who got shot last year. And then the year before that, it was 41. I'm not sure. But it was a significant number of people to get shot. That don't include the cover up of the crime statistics. This is just what we can find publicly available in the data. And it's this concept and this idea of supporting somebody because they got a black wrapper on their skin, because they wrapped in black foil, is just utterly ridiculous at this point. Oh, he's got black skin, I'm going to support him. No, that Negro's the devil. That's what he is. He's the devil. And he needs to be overthrown. He needs to be dethroned. But hold on. Let's go look at the governor. Because I don't get it. So, Black Lives Matter. All these people like, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. All these white liberal women walking in the street with their sign. Black Lives Matter. Let me make me a Black Lives Matter sign right quick. Hold on. Let me make my sign. I'm going to write it on this. I'm going to put a BLM sign. BLM. They run around with paper plates. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. And then, oh no, 20 black people got shot. So what? Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Wait, it's Labor Day weekend. 50 Negroes got shot. Black Lives Matter. What don't you understand about this? Those blacks don't count. Don't you get it? They don't count. The only black lives that matter are the ones that we say matter. If they're not killed by the damn police, then they don't matter. Do you understand that? Have you gotten that through your freaking head yet? We can't use them for our political gain. They don't matter. But they're black. That don't matter. That type of black life is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the type of black life that gets shot by one of these things right here. You know, they look like this, and then they have a trigger right there, and then they have this, and then sometimes there's a hammer right there, and then there's the slide right there, and this is the trigger, and this is where the magazine goes in. That's the grip of the gun right there, and this is the silencer on the front of the gun, and this is the slide where the bullet comes back out, and those are the only lives that matter. Get out of here. We don't care. Here it is. I found the rulers of Chicago. And I'm going to teach you something about politics. You see, the people that stand behind here, like that big, tall black guy and that guy right there and that bald head guy and that guy right there and the lady in the wheelchair. You see, this is called FaceTime. These are the people behind the scenes that hope that they benefit from the politicians. Those are the ones that you get the phone call. Ring, what's up, dog? Say, James, you know I'm giving a press conference today. I need some people to stand behind me. Will you stand with me? To give the illusion that they're not alone. I got them phone calls before. If you go look closer, you might see me standing somewhere. Will you stand with me? Yeah, bro, I'll come up there. I'll stand up there with you. You put on your monkey suit and tie. You go stand up there. Yeah, you stand up there. And see, that's getting, for them, this is them getting political capital with these leaders. So later on, they called Governor Pritzker, you know, I stood with you when you were facing Donald Trump, because they hope that they're going to get something. Yeah. You hoping that you're going to get something out the equation. But what you don't understand is, and what you haven't come to the realization of, it has not dawned on your silly head, no matter what skin color the head is, if everybody keep getting shot and murders on the rise and people keep leaving that city, then hold up. Guess what? Ain't going to be nothing for you to get. See, my hometown, New Orleans, we a special kind of monster because we got tourism as a base. Chicago ain't got tourism as a base as New Orleans has. In fact, tourism is the biggest industry in the city of New Orleans. So these people got a renewable source of money coming in. It renews every holiday. Labor Day weekend, cha-ching. 4th of July, cha-ching. Mardi Gras, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Super Bowl weekend, cha-ching. Saint Sunday, cha-ching. But y'all ain't got that here. And so all you got is corporations leaving your city because of the violence. People moving out of your city because of the violence. And what I hate about it is they come down to the South with that same mentality. Same liberal mentality. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. But they never go into the hood. And once you go into the hood by yourself with a Black Lives Matter sign, they're going to tell you run it. Run them watches, run them shoes, run that purse, run that car. We're going to get that out you. But here's J.B. Pritzker doing what Democrats do as it pertains to niggers and negroids. Yeah, he is. And YouTube going to be mad at me because I use that language. But guess what? That's what they saying. We don't care about you Negroes. We don't care if you die. No, I'm standing up to Donald Trump. I don't care how many of you little black children die. I don't care if your auntie gets shot in the right butt cheek. I don't care if your grandpa get a bullet through the window to go through his neck. I don't care. I don't like Donald Trump. And furthermore, you are my slave. You, my slave. But then they talk about slavery. Boy, let me tell you something.
Over the weekend, we learned from the media that Donald Trump has been planning for quite a while now to deploy armed military personnel to the streets of Chicago. This is exactly the type of overreach that our...
Look at Brandon Johnson standing there like a demonically filled vessel. Look at him. Let me zoom in. Look at him. Don't he look like a demon, like a vessel waiting for the demon to possess him? Hands straight down, like on the inside is going. Bah, bah, bah. Look at him. A full-on demon-filled vessel. Bah. Wait till I get my turn on the mic. Gonna tell them about how racist this is. Bah. Lives matter. Bah. I'm coming. Death, you won't stop blood sacrifice on the street. No.
Country's founders warned against. And it's the reason that they established a federal system with a separation of powers built on checks and balances. What President Trump is doing is unprecedented and unwarranted. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It is un-American. Over the weekend, we learned from the media that Donald...
I hope that the Lord judge these people, dethrone them, and kick them out of office. But it's going to take God to do this. It's going to take God in his infinite and divine wisdom to do it. And I think we headed to it right now. They're everywhere. Crime is down. Crime is down. Crime is down. But then juxtapose that to Washington, D.C., where nobody's getting murdered. Nobody's getting murdered. Nobody's getting shot. Nobody's getting carjacked. Carjack is down 87%. If you lost 87% of the money in your bank account right now, how would you be able to pay your bills? For the average person. I ain't talking about if you're out here balling. If you balling, then congratulations. You a baller. But for the person that's living from paycheck to paycheck, if you lost 87% of your money today, could you do any damn thing? If you didn't get if 87% of your paycheck just disappeared, how would your life be? What would it be like if 87% of the murders and the shootings stopped in Chicago? That's a drastic change. That's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is if 87% of your money went away, then that would be a drastic change for you in your life. If 80% of the carjackings went away in Chicago, the murders went away in Chicago, the shootings went away in Chicago, what would Chicago be like? What would New Orleans be like? What would St. Louis be like? What would Las Vegas be like? What would Phoenix be like? What would Houston be like? What would Jackson, Mississippi be like? And then people won't get mad. Oh, man, you know they're talking about the black people bad. No. Y'all keep voting for ignorant people. You keep doing ignorant stuff. This is ignorance. I mean, I'm sorry. It's full-on ignorance to vote for somebody like this. And here's the worst part about it. let's just keep it real. I'm going to keep it 1,000% real. I'm not quite sure that people like Brandon Johnson actually got the votes that they say they got. In light of everything we've seen, I'm not even sure if these people were truly elected. Because part of me wants to believe, and I could be wrong, part of me wants to believe that minority communities can't be this damn dumb. You can't be. But if you is, then bro, you just deserve that. If you stand behind Brandon Johnson after this weekend and you live in Chicago and you see all these shootings and all these murders, they already started. I just showed you they started yesterday. You had one this morning, 12:54 a.m. started this morning. A 16-year-old and a 15-year-old shot. And the news said they look like children. The 15-year-old looked like a little kid. That's two of them shot. One of them murdered, one of them shot. Started today at 11:54. Well, technically yesterday, 6 minutes before the day started. And you had another person get shot. So that's 3 shootings in the first. That was by 6 a.m. this morning. 6 a.m. today. That's 3 people get shot. Tomorrow, the next day, you got 3 more. You got 72 hours left over this long weekend. And remember, they came out and they said they don't want no help. If I'm president, man, in fact, I'm going to pull all the resources out of there. You don't want no help? I'm going to pull everything out during this weekend and let you see what happened. But see, Donald ain't going to do that. You want to know why? Because Donald got some sense and he a righteous man. I'll pull everything out. Everything that was there, I'll pull it out for this weekend. Leave you to what you say you want. Let the point be made by all the shootings and all the murders, and then I'll invade and take it over. Yeah. Just defiant, prideful leadership. Ungodly leadership that don't give a damn about the people dying. I'm done.